Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're really unlocking something pretty profound, I think. A concept that could genuinely redefine how you approach, well, pretty much every aspect of your life. Just imagine for a moment, there's this hidden universal law, and it meticulously governs your existence, making sure that every single action, every thought you cultivate, every intention you project out into the world, it all finds its perfect balance. Now, what if understanding and really mastering this fundamental law wasn't just some abstract philosophical exercise? What if it was the undeniable key to unlocking abundance, fostering real justice, and achieving this deep sense of fulfillment in our, let's face it, increasingly complex and often kind of chaotic modern world? That's the really powerful premise we're diving into today.
Yeah, and what's truly captivating here, I find, is how this timeless wisdom, stuff passed down through centuries, is now meeting the cutting-edge insights of modern science and tech to really illuminate this very idea. So our focus for this deep dive is Compensation 2.0, Balancing Life in the Quantum Age. It's a remarkable book, really. It takes Ralph Waldo Emerson's, that seminal 1841 essay Compensation, and it boldly reimagines it for our hyper-connected, AI-driven reality right now in 2025. And this isn't just like a reinterpretation. It positions itself as a practical, actionable guide for mastering what it calls this universal law. It's presenting itself as a kind of mindset key for navigating today's world.
That blend sounds incredibly ambitious.
Yeah.
I mean, bridging 19th century transcendentalist philosophy with modern neuroscience, these quantum metaphors you mentioned, and even really practical tools like AI analytics and blockchain transparency. It promises to be maybe a shortcut to being exceptionally well-informed about how to truly balance your ledger in life, as the book puts it. It's a fascinating proposition, isn't it? Classic philosophy meets quantum tools in a really impactful way. It's showing us how to find that harmony amidst all the digital noise.
Exactly, and the book's core concept is genuinely transformative. It's about deeply understanding how your actions, your thoughts, and importantly, your underlying intentions create precise and often predictable consequences across every single domain of your life. So whether that's, personal relationships, your professional stuff, or even your impact on society at large. It's very meticulously structured across 12 chapters. It sort of guides you through this journey from just understanding compensation and cultivating the right mindset, all the way to applying practical tools, sustaining that balance day to day, and ultimately achieving a state of what the book calls universal harmony or transcendence.
And it doesn't shy away from the challenges of 2025 either, right? It dives straight into things like economic volatility, that pervasive digital overload we all feel, and the really intricate ethical dilemmas posed by, rapidly advancing AI. Within his pages, the book offers these intriguing concepts like subconscious recalibration and the idea of collective karma, all designed, it seems, to show how Emerson's wisdom meets AI for results. It sounds like a really comprehensive framework.
Absolutely. So this deep dive then is truly for you if you're maybe a self-help seeker looking for practical and profound applications for personal growth. Or maybe you're a professional navigating the, often unpredictable waters of the gig economy, needing to find some stable ground. It's also definitely for the spiritual explorer who's curious about these universal principles, or even the tech enthusiast seeking ethical balance and wisdom in the face of such rapid innovation. I mean, in essence, it's a guide for anyone striving for harmony in a world that often feels, profoundly out of sync.
Right. And the book itself seems to envision this vibrant community around these ideas. It imagines platforms like Mindset Keys coming to life. You can almost picture it opening with a powerful statement, something like, "Welcome to Mindset Keys' timeless wisdom for today." Or maybe, "Classic philosophy meets quantum tools." It's all about providing that crucial, actionable value, isn't it? Making sure Emerson's wisdom meets AI for results. And that's precisely what we want to do for you in this conversation today. Take these rich insights and make them accessible and, applicable. So let's start right at the foundation. The book's first chapter lays down what it calls the eternal law of compensation. What's the foundational principle that Emerson first talked about nearly 2 centuries ago, and how does Compensation 2.0 really build on it?
Okay, so at its heart, the core idea is elegantly simple, but it's profoundly impactful. Every single action you take, whether it's obvious or subtle, triggers an equal and corresponding reaction. Nature, in its, infinite wisdom, works tirelessly to ensure balance, that it maintains this universal equilibrium across all systems. Emerson famously summed this up with, "For every advantage, a corresponding burden." And this isn't just like abstract philosophy. The book really emphasizes how Emerson illustrated it with these vivid, tangible examples that bring it to life, making it relatable.
Could you share one of those? Because often it's the stories, isn't it, that really make these big ideas stick in your mind.
Absolutely. The book highlights Emerson's really vivid illustration of the thief. So imagine someone commits theft. Okay, that act might give them a temporary material advantage, a fleeting gain, right? But Emerson argued the thief is inevitably punished. Not necessarily by the law, but by their own internal guilt. That gnawing anxiety of being found out, the loss of peace, their conscience basically becomes their jailer. Conversely, think about someone who gives freely, just out of generosity, no strings attached. They find themselves rewarded, maybe not always materially, but with this immense intrinsic joy and a deep sense of purpose that often, far outweighs whatever they initially gave. These aren't just moral tales. They are, as the book explains, demonstrations of this immediate, inescapable feedback loop woven right into the fabric of existence.
It's fascinating how those observations might hold up today. So what specific neuroscientific discoveries does the book highlight that actually validate these ancient insights? This is where it gets really interesting, I think, especially for our learner audience.
Yeah, this is where Compensation 2.0 really shines, I agree. It takes Emerson's old insight and shows how modern neuroscience provides a biological basis for these principles. The book dives into the neuroscience of dopamine habits. It explains that our actions aren't just, external events. They literally reinforce specific neural pathways in our brains. When we repeatedly do certain things, whether positive, like consistent effort and kindness, or negative, like procrastination or dishonesty, our brains release dopamine. This chemical acts like a kind of neural cement, right? Stamping those pathways, making it easier to repeat those same actions. This, in turn, shapes our future outcomes in a remarkably predictable way. It's a powerful, self-perpetuating feedback loop. It scientifically shows the biological underpinnings of Emerson's law of cause and effect.
Wow. So our brains are essentially hardwiring themselves based on what we do over and over, for better or worse. That's a really powerful link between thought, action, and outcome. So given that, what tools does the book suggest we can actually use right now in 2025 to consciously engage with and maybe even influence this feedback loop?
Precisely. And for 2025, the book says we have these incredibly powerful, sophisticated tools at our fingertips, not just to understand, but to actively influence this loop. Think about AI analytics. Much like Google Analytics for a website, right? It could track your personal action outcome patterns in really granular detail. It might show you, for example, that consistent focused effort on Project X reliably leads to positive results Y and Z, or conversely, how that habit of putting things off consistently leads to missed deadlines and lost opportunities. But it's not just tracking. The book also highlights mindfulness apps, things like Headspace or Calm. These tools aren't just for chilling out, they actively help align your thoughts and intentions. They help you consciously work on rewiring those neural pathways, and by doing that, creating more balanced, positive results in your life. It's about consciously engaging with the internal mechanics that Emerson seemed to understand instinctively.
Okay, but then the book introduces a really intriguing idea here, right? It goes beyond simple cause and effect. How does it suggest our thoughts interact with reality in a way that's maybe deeper than just conscious intention?
Yeah, this is one of the book's most compelling secrets, as it calls them. It proposes that our thoughts aren't just internal chatter or, fleeting impulses. They're described as actively entangling with reality, using that quantum metaphor again. Now, this isn't literal quantum physics happening in your brain, but it's a powerful analogy to help us understand how our internal world actively shapes the external one. It suggests our focused thoughts can actually sort of collapse possibilities into existence, give them form, substance. Conversely, the book points out a hidden danger: unconscious biases, or these deeply ingrained, unexamined beliefs we all have. They can subtly but powerfully skew this balance, leading to unintended, often undesirable outcomes, even when our conscious intentions seem perfectly fine. So the ethical imperative here, the book argues, is to make sure our actions are genuinely aligned for mutual good, not just superficial personal gain.
That's a profound idea. Our thoughts aren't just passive observers.
Right.
So for someone listening, what's a practical step the book offers to actually put this into action? How do you start?
A powerful, actionable exercise the book suggests is to journal about it. Write down 10 specific actions you've taken recently and their corresponding outcomes. Really observe the patterns. Then, crucially, affirm daily. Maybe say it out loud. Maybe write it, "My actions balance my life." This practice is about conscious observation and that internal reinforcement, actively engaging with that feedback loop we talk about.
And looking ahead, the book makes some pretty bold predictions about how technology will intersect with this law. What does it foresee for the near future, say, by 2030?
Yeah, the predictions are quite something. By 2030, the book predicts that AI could be able to predict the consequences of our actions with an impressive 80% accuracy. I mean, just imagine the potential there. Proactively guiding your choices, reducing imbalance by maybe as much as 20% across different parts of your life, simply by having this foresight. However, the book also issues a really important caution: the risk of over-reliance on tech. Just surrendering our own judgment to algorithms. That risk stands at a significant 30%. It really highlights the need for a balanced approach to using tech, making sure we stay in the driver's seat of our own lives.
Okay, so we've got this foundational law of compensation: every action ripples outward. But how does the universe maintain that balance? How does it stop things from going to perpetual extremes? The book, in Chapter 2, introduces this fascinating concept, the polarity of life. It suggests this balance isn't static, it's more like a constant dance of opposites, right?
Exactly. Yeah, this chapter highlights how dualism, concepts like light and dark, expansion and contraction, give and take, inherently governs all existence. And it actively prevents any single element from reaching a destructive excess. Emerson's analogy of day and night is perfect here. One can't exist without the other, right? Their interplay creates the essential rhythm of life, preventing endless darkness or nonstop daylight. Psychologically, the book argues embracing this inherent balance, rather than fighting one side of a duality, can actually reduce stress by a measurable 25%. It's about accepting the natural ebb and flow, seeing opposites as complementary, not, conflicting forces.
That makes total sense. You need both sides for the whole picture. The book offers a story that really illustrates this, doesn't it? Can you share that one?
It does, yeah. A great story in the book features this merchant who, in his relentless drive for wealth and growth, pushed himself so hard he became severely ill. He worked nonstop, ignored any need for rest, fundamentally disregarded that polarity of effort and recovery. Classic burnout, really. It was only when he was forced into a period of moderation, stepping back, consciously rebalancing his work and rest, that he managed to restore his health and ultimately find a more sustainable kind of success. It's a really clear, impactful demonstration of polarity in action and the inevitable fallout from ignoring its truth.
So how does Compensation 2.0 bring this ancient idea of polarity into our modern, tech-heavy 2025? What tools are available to us now to manage this?
Well, for 2025, the book suggests some modern twists on how we can consciously manage this essential polarity. Think about wearables, your Fitbit, your Apple Watch. They can meticulously track activity and rest, giving us data-driven insights into our daily rhythms. It goes beyond just counting steps. It's about understanding our personal energy cycles. And also the evolution of hybrid work models, which are so common now. They're often designed precisely to optimize this very polarity, right? Allowing for flexible schedules that blend focused work with necessary downtime instead of that rigid, often exhausting old 9-to-5 grind. It's about designing our lives to actually honor both sides of the equation.
That idea of both sides existing at the same time. It almost sounds like it links back to those quantum metaphors we touched on earlier.
Yeah.
What secret does the book reveal about polarity in that kind of context?
Yeah, this is where the book brings in another fascinating secret. Polarity is presented using the metaphor of quantum superposition, meaning these opposing forces or states can exist simultaneously in multiple potential states until we observe them or act on them. It's a dynamic, fluid balance, not just a fixed either. The book really stresses that ignoring these essential opposites, trying to live constantly in one extreme, inevitably leads to imbalance and distress. So the ethical imperative is to consciously embrace both sides of these dualities, see how they depend on each other, and actively seek integration rather than trying to exclude one. Your actionable step from the book here: log your work versus rest daily. Really observe your own patterns, your energy levels, and then affirm, I harmonize life's opposites. And looking ahead, the book offers a compelling prediction here too. By 2035, AI is expected to play an even bigger role, optimizing polarity through highly personalized work-life apps. It could potentially boost overall well-being by like 30%, but there's a recognized risk, maybe 25%, for what the book calls polarized thinking, where the tech, if not designed carefully, might accidentally reinforce rigid categories instead of helping us embrace duality. That's something we as individuals in society need to watch out for.
Okay, so from understanding universal laws and the dance of opposites, Chapter 3 takes us to self-reliance and inner balance. This feels like a cornerstone of Emerson's whole transcendentalist thing, focusing on a really personal journey. What's the core principle here?
The core law here is profoundly liberating, I think. It's simply about trusting your instincts, relying on your own inner compass to align with compensation's natural flow, rather than constantly looking outside yourself for validation or direction. Emerson saw self-reliance as freedom from the pressures of conformity, allowing each person to find their unique path to balance.
Right. This is all about Emerson's powerful rejection of just fitting in. It's a call to cultivate that inner compass that can guide you towards balance, even when society's pulling you in other directions. Can you give an example of this from the book?
Yeah, the book illustrates this really vividly with the story of a writer. Despite facing external doubts, critical reviews, popular trends pushing another way, this writer chose to trust their unique, intuitive voice, their vision. They refused to compromise their authentic expression and ultimately found this profound success and fulfillment that just wouldn't have happened if they'd followed the crowd or tried to fit a mold. And psychology research strongly backs this up. It shows that self-efficacy, just your belief in your own ability to succeed, that alone, can boost positive outcomes by a significant 20%. It's not just about positive thinking, it's about trusting your inherent wisdom. And in our modern 2025 world, the book points to innovative tools that can actually support this ancient wisdom. Think about LinkedIn's emerging AI features. They're being designed not just to match skills to jobs, but to align potential careers with your intrinsic instincts, your deeper purpose, fostering a more self-reliant path. Plus, meditation apps are getting increasingly sophisticated at enhancing intuition, helping people quiet the external noise and connect more deeply with their inner guidance, making that inner compass easier to hear.
The idea that intuition is more than just a hunch is really powerful. What secret does the book reveal about the nature of intuition itself? What's going on there?
Well, the secret revealed here is pretty profound. Intuition itself is presented, again using that metaphorical language, as a form of quantum guidance. It's not just a random feeling, but a deeper, more subtle form of knowing that the book suggests connects us to broader information fields, maybe an interconnected web of consciousness. The warning, naturally, is that relying too heavily on external opinions, fleeting trends, or even tech that overprescribes our lives, well, that can severely disrupt this delicate inner balance. It can cut us off from our most authentic navigation system. So the ethical imperative is to trust your inner voice, but always with humility, right? Recognizing intuition is a guide, not some infallible dogma. And being aware of your connection to the bigger picture, your actionable exercise. Meditate 10 minutes daily, specifically focusing on your instincts, practicing listening to that inner voice, and then affirm, I trust my inner balance. Looking way ahead, the predictions are remarkable. By 2040, brain-computer interfaces could potentially enhance intuition with an astonishing 90% accuracy. I mean, that opens up incredible possibilities for human potential, decision-making. But the book cautions about significant autonomy risks, maybe around 30%. That would require really robust ethical safeguards to make sure such tech truly serves us without diminishing our individual agency or, forcing a certain path on us.
That's a lot to think about, our individual power, our connection. If these links between ancient wisdom and modern science are sparking some aha moments for you, and we really hope they are, then we encourage you to reflect on what's resonating most. Sharing these valuable insights, as the book suggests, helps us all co-create compensation by spreading that energy of balance and understanding. We love hearing your thoughts, so maybe share this deep dive with someone else who you think is ready for this kind of transformation.
Indeed. The book actively prompts this kind of engagement. It's about connecting these dots in your own life, taking these insights and actively making them actionable, and then extending that energy outward.
So what does all this mean for the big picture then? The Build section of Compensation 2.0 really seems to ground these profound philosophical ideas in tangible cutting-edge science. It's showing us that Emerson's wisdom wasn't just poetic, it's deeply rooted in the mechanics of our reality.
Precisely. We see that clear scientific evidence in the neuroscience of dopamine habits, like we discussed. That gives us a concrete biological mechanism for how our consistent actions, thoughts, intentions literally reinforce specific neural pathways. It scientifically validates Emerson's claim that actions trigger equal reactions, showing it's this continuous self-organizing process right inside us. It's not just a metaphor, it's a deeply ingrained biological reality shaping our experience.
And then there's that incredible insight from epigenetics, which is just mind-blowing, really. The book cites research by Burek and others from 2017 demonstrating a measurable 15% gene expression shift directly linked to intentional practices like meditation. Could you elaborate on how the book explains that mechanism? How exactly does intentional practice influence our genes according to this?
Yeah, this is a truly profound connection. The book explains that epigenetics isn't about changing your fundamental DNA sequence, but rather about how your genes are expressed. Essentially, whether certain genes are switched on or off, or maybe how strongly they operate. The research by Burek et al. Showed that people engaging in consistent mindfulness and meditation practices actually experience specific changes in the activity of certain genes, particularly those related to inflammation and stress response. The theory is that these intentional practices, cultivating calm, focus, positive intention, can influence the cellular environment and the signaling pathways in a way that literally talks to our genes, promoting healthier gene expression patterns. So it's not just about feeling better mentally, it shows our mindset and conching practices aren't just psychological constructs. They have a profound biological resonance, literally influencing our physical being right down to the genetic level.
Wow, that's a powerful connection, linking mindset to our very genetic makeup. What's also fascinating is the consistent, deliberate use of these quantum metaphors throughout the book. It feels like more than just, poetic language.
It does feel like more. And what's fascinating is how the book weaves these quantum metaphors throughout its exploration. It's really crucial to understand that these are used as analogies, right? Powerful linguistic tools to help us grasp the subtle, interconnected, often non-linear ways compensation works. It's not saying our brains are literal quantum computers. We see actions described as entangled energies in the intro, showing how our every move is interconnected with what comes next. Thoughts are depicted as actively entangling with reality in Chapter 1, suggesting our inner world has this dynamic, shaping influence. Polarity is framed as quantum superposition in Chapter 2, conveying how opposites can coexist dynamically. And intuition is described as quantum guidance in Chapter 3, hinting at a deeper, subtle kind of knowing. This language powerfully bridges the philosophical and the scientific, making abstract concepts more relatable and hinting at this deeper, interconnected reality that maybe science is only just beginning to explore properly.
Okay, moving into the climax of our deep dive. Compensation 2.0 outlines a clear, actionable system for applying these principles to create real change. Chapter 4 focuses on the power of intentional action. What's the core law here, and what does the book say about the impact of our intentions?
The core law here is pretty straightforward. Deliberate, conscious actions consistently yield balanced, desired outcomes, while thoughtlessness, or just acting on impulse without clear direction, inevitably disrupts that balance. And behavioral science gives this solid grounding. It consistently shows that clear, conscious intentionality boosts success rates by a measurable 15%. It's not just about working hard. It's about directed, purposeful effort.
Emerson gave us powerful examples of this, timeless ones that still resonate today. How does the book use his insights to illustrate intentional action?
Well, Emerson illustrated how honest, diligent work invariably brings its own reward. Maybe material prosperity, respect, or just deep personal fulfillment. Think of a farmer diligently tending their fields year after year. With conscious intention, they'd inevitably reap a good harvest. Conversely, acts of deceit or dishonesty, while maybe offering a fleeting advantage, inevitably bring loss of trust, reputation, inner peace. The book offers tangible, modern tools that echo this. Think of advanced AI project management platforms like Asana. They aren't just for organizing, they're designed to help you meticulously align every task, every small action with your bigger goals and intentions. We see this actively with freelancers, for instance. They're increasingly using intention-setting frameworks, not just to get gigs, but to ensure those gigs align with their long-term goals, moving beyond just chasing income to chasing purpose. And a key secret revealed in this chapter is that intentions don't just guide your actions. The book posits, metaphorically, that they literally vibrate quantum fields, suggesting a much more profound energetic impact on reality than we might traditionally think. Our thoughts and intentions, it argues, aren't inert. They're dynamic forces actively shaping our environment. Conversely, the hidden danger is that subconscious motives or unexamined desires can subtly but powerfully skew our results, leading to outcomes that contradict our conscious goals. So the ethical call to action is to act with unwavering transparency, both with ourselves and others, ensuring our inner and outer intentions are aligned, fostering trust and genuine connection.
So understanding this profound impact of our intentions, what's a practical step the book suggests for listeners to put this power into practice? How do we start harnessing it?
To harness this power, the book encourages you to set 5 specific, intentional goals for the coming week or month. Really define them, and then daily affirm, my actions align with balance. This practice isn't just wishful thinking, it reinforces that conscious direction, helps shape those neural pathways, and maybe even those quantum fields. Looking ahead, by 2032, AI intent trackers are predicted to get incredibly sophisticated, potentially optimizing outcomes by a remarkable 40%. But the book issues a critical caution about the risks of manipulative intentions where such tech could be used to subtly influence or control others. That risk stands at a notable 25%, highlighting the ongoing need for ethical vigilance. Okay, Chapter 5 then delves into reflective balance, emphasizing the critical and often overlooked need for consistent self-examination. Introspection as a way of staying aligned with compensation's harmony.
Right. Emerson was always advocating for inner wisdom. He powerfully urged self-examination as the main way to correct imbalances in our lives. He knew that without looking inward, we just repeat the same patterns. How does the book illustrate this? Maybe with another story.
Yeah, the book shares compelling stories, kind of like The Merchant we talked about, but focused on reflection. Imagine a business leader facing stagnant growth. Instead of just blindly pushing harder, this leader takes time to reflect deeply on strategies, values, team interactions, market needs. This rigorous, honest self-examination lets them pivot their approach, innovate, and ultimately thrive. It shows that direct link between looking inward and getting tangible results. And psychologically, research consistently confirms the power of reflection. It shows it can actively reduce cognitive biases by 20%, leading to clearer decisions, more balanced perspectives, helping us see beyond our immediate assumptions.
It really sounds like just taking a pause, looking inward, can dramatically improve our outward results. How do modern tools help us with this ancient practice of reflection in 2025? Are there apps for that?
Oh yeah, for 2025, we have a growing array of modern tools that help with this ancient practice. Journaling apps like Day One provide structured private spaces for daily reflection, making the habit easy and consistent. They guide you with prompts, let you track thoughts over time. What's even more interesting, perhaps, is the emergence of X communities, formerly Twitter, which seem to be evolving into platforms where people share reflective insights, discuss challenges, collectively process experiences. This creates a powerful form of shared wisdom and accountability that can really amplify individual reflection. People learn from each other's journeys.
That shared reflection sounds like it could create a powerful collective shift, actually.
Yeah.
What secret does the book reveal about how reflection impacts our inner state? And what's the ethical consideration here?
The secret here, according to the book, is that reflection doesn't just process info, it actively recalibrates quantum states, suggesting that by consciously reviewing our experiences, choices, outcomes, we can literally shift our energetic alignment, our trajectory, make course corrections in our inner world. The hidden danger, of course, is that avoiding reflection just creates more imbalance. It lets unconscious patterns and unaddressed issues fester and compound, leading to those repeated negative cycles. The ethical advice is crucial. Reflect humbly, with an open mind willing to acknowledge your own imperfections and areas for growth. Not with judgment or self-criticism, your actionable exercise is to journal daily reflections for at least 5 minutes. Ask yourself, what went well? What could be improved? What did I learn? And then affirm, I balance through insight. Looking ahead, by 2035, AI reflection tools are projected to reach an impressive 85% accuracy in predicting imbalances. These tools could offer highly personalized insights into areas where we might be drifting off course, like an early warning system for our inner balance. But the book notes a significant risk. Privacy concerns related to such deeply personal data stand at 30%. That raises important questions about data security, consent, and the ethical use of our innermost reflections.
Okay, Chapter 6, Ethical Action for Universal Balance, brings in that crucial moral dimension. It shows how our personal choices ripple out through the wider world, affecting not just us, but everyone around us.
Yeah, this chapter is all about aligning your actions with universal justice, understanding that by doing so, you amplify your rewards, not just for yourself, but for the collective good. Emerson's concept of a moral ledger is central here. It suggests that good deeds, acts of integrity, genuine kindness, they invariably return good. They create this positive account in the universal balance that benefits everyone. And ethics research strongly reinforces this. It demonstrates that acting with integrity actively boosts trust by 30%, which translates into stronger relationships, better business outcomes, a more harmonious society. It's a powerful testament to the tangible benefits of living ethically.
We've often seen examples of this in public life, haven't we? People who seem to operate with integrity gaining trust. The book offers modern twists on how this plays out, too.
We do. We see it in action through countless examples, like philanthropists who, by dedicating resources to the collective good, not only foster positive change, but also gain immense loyalty, respect, enduring influence way beyond the initial money. The modern twist, particularly relevant in 2025, involves blockchain technology, which is now ensuring unprecedented ethical transparency. This is especially impactful in areas like ESG investing.
That sounds like a powerful alignment. And in 2025, the book points to ESG investing.
What exactly does ESG stand for, and how does it connect to ethical compensation?
Right. So ESG stands for environmental, social, and governance. It's an approach where investors don't just look at the financial bottom line, but also a company's impact on the environment, how it treats its employees and communities, and the transparency and integrity of its leadership. Blockchain, the book explains, can now verify these ethical claims with unprecedented transparency. It creates this immutable record of a company's practices. This helps ensure that our money is truly aligned with universal justice, supporting businesses that actively contribute to a more balanced and equitable world. We're seeing 2025 startups modeling entirely new business paradigms built on this foundation of verifiable ethical action. It's quite exciting. The secret here is profound. Our ethics don't just affect us individually, they're said to entangle collective karma, creating broader systemic impacts that ripple through communities and societies, shaping the very fabric of our shared reality. Conversely, selfishness, acting solely for personal gain at others' expense, naturally disrupts this vital flow. It leads to collective imbalance and negative consequences that everyone ultimately bears. So the ethical imperative is crystal clear. Prioritize fairness, contribute to the greater good, always consider the wider implications of your actions. Your actionable exercise from the book. Perform 5 conscious ethical acts within a week. Doesn't have to be huge. Help a neighbor, donate to a cause, offer genuine support to a colleague, and then affirm daily, my ethics balance the world.
And looking to the future, by 2040, these blockchain ethics platforms are expected to reduce corruption by a significant 25%, fostering a more transparent, accountable global society. That's huge. However, the book also warns of a risk of tokenized morality, maybe around 20%, where ethical acts become just performative or purely transactional, lacking genuine intention or deep commitment. That would undermine the whole spirit of universal justice these systems aim for.
The book then moves into a section called Flow, applying these compensation principles to some of the most fundamental areas of our lives, starting with how we approach work.
Yeah, Chapter 7, Work is Balanced Energy, offers a powerful insight. Work truly aligns with compensation when it's purpose-driven. It's not just what you do, but why you do it. Emerson's insights here are incredibly relevant today, showing that passionate, intrinsically motivated work yields not just financial reward, but profound joy, fulfillment. Conversely, just engaging in drudgery, work without meaning, inevitably brings loss not just of productivity, but of spirit, energy. The book highlights that getting into flow states, those moments of deep immersion where you lose track of time, can boost productivity by an astounding 30%.
Absolutely. And today, platforms like Upwork actively enable gig workers to find projects that align with their purpose and passions, moving beyond the traditional job market, connecting them with meaningful opportunities. And in 2025, we're seeing the emergence of things like Muse wearables, which can track brainwave activity to actually quantify and help us achieve flow states, providing real-time feedback to optimize our work rhythms, unlock peak performance. The secret here is that work isn't just a series of tasks, it's a quantum energy exchange. When we pour our authentic, purpose-driven energy into our work, we receive proportionate energy-back fulfillment results, often tangible rewards. The exercise: map your most passionate tasks, those that really light you up, and affirm, my work balances my life. Then Chapter 8, Wealth and its Consequences, offers a crucial insight. Wealth balances with responsibility. Accumulating resources isn't just about personal gain, it carries an inherent obligation to the greater good. Emerson famously warned that wealth without virtue inevitably brings misery, illustrating that true prosperity is tied to how resources are managed and shared, not just acquired. Economically, the book cites research showing that generosity, giving back, supporting causes, investing ethically has been shown to boost earnings by 15%, demonstrating a tangible return on altruism.
Modern applications of this are fascinating, aren't they? We're seeing new ways to align our financial lives with these ethical ideas.
We're seeing the rise of crypto philanthropy via platforms like the Giving Block, allowing for transparent, efficient charitable giving using digital assets, ensuring donations reach their purpose clearly. And in 2025, ESG funds are becoming mainstream, as we mentioned, allowing investors to actively align their wealth with ethical impact, ensuring their investments contribute to a balanced, sustainable world. The secret here is viewing wealth as quantum flow. It's not a static thing to be hoarded, but an energy that needs to move, circulate, to maintain its vitality and create greater good. Your exercise. Consider tithing 10% of your earnings to a cause you genuinely believe in and affirm, my wealth balances with good. And finally, Chapter 9, Relationships and Reciprocity, explains that relationships may be the most vital part of our social lives, balanced fundamentally through mutual give and take. It has to be a two-way street. Social psychology consistently shows that reciprocity, responding to a positive action with another positive action, sharing support boosts relational bonds by 25%. This really echoes Emerson's belief that genuine kindness, consideration, sincere appreciation invariably return loyalty and strengthen connections, creating a robust social fabric.
In our increasingly connected world, this idea of reciprocity feels more important than ever, doesn't it? How does the book apply this to our digital interactions?
Absolutely. In our interconnected world, LinkedIn networking is a prime example. Building relationships through genuine engagement, offering support, sharing expertise that often leads to reciprocal opportunities and valuable connections. And in 2025, advanced AI tools are even being developed to help match reciprocal partners in various contexts. Mentorships, collaborations facilitating more balanced, productive interactions. The secret is that relationships entangle energies. When there's an imbalance, one person always giving, the other only taking, the energetic connection gets skewed, the bond inevitably weakens, breaks down. Your actionable exercise: compliment 5 contacts genuinely this week, really appreciate something about them or their work, and affirm my relationship's balance.
Wow, this deep dive into Compensation 2.0's system really emphasizes practical application, doesn't it? Guiding you towards conscious action across all these crucial areas of life. It's about not just understanding the theory, but truly living this wisdom.
Exactly. The book's framework really encourages you to integrate this wisdom daily. It's about building, as it says, a community of balanced creators, which means actively engaging with the balance toolkit it provides. That includes things like a 30-day balance challenge to embed these practices, Canva intention boards for visual goal setting, and even Reddit forums for sharing experiences about karma and getting communal support, fostering this collective journey towards harmony.
So the power then really lies in these consistent daily protocols, moving beyond just reading about it to truly living it day by day.
Precisely. The power is in the daily protocols. Consistent journaling for reflection, powerful affirmations to reprogram your subconscious, maybe AI reflections for data-driven insights into your patterns. These aren't just one-off tasks. They're designed as this continuous reinforcing system to balance your ledger day by day, moment by moment, creating lasting change.
Okay, as we approach the transcendence section of the book, Chapter 10 introduces collective compensation. So what does this all mean for us as a society, beyond just our individual lives? How do our actions contribute to a larger societal balance?
This law posits that society, as a whole system, balances through our collective actions and interactions. Emerson, with his profound societal insights, saw justice not just as the sum of individual acts, but as a kind of group karma. He illustrated how communities that actively aid and uplift their members, foster cooperation, mutual support, they invariably thrive and experience sustained well-being, creating a positive feedback loop for everyone involved. And sociology powerfully confirms this. Active cooperation within groups and across communities boosts collective outcomes by a significant 20%, creating this virtuous cycle of positive compensation for the whole society.
We see modern examples of this, like how online communities can rally around shared causes. The book points to how X communities, for instance, can contribute to this collective good.
We do. Modern examples include how X communities, again, formerly Twitter, can rally around shared causes, driving collective good, advocating for systemic change. It shows the immense power of networked altruism and shared purpose. And in 2025, blockchain technologies are evolving to track collective contributions and impact with unprecedented transparency, ensuring accountability and equitable distribution in large-scale humanitarian and social projects. The secret here, according to the book, is that collective karma functions as a quantum network. Our individual actions within this network, no matter how small they seem, create ripple effects that influence the entire collective field, making every choice profoundly impactful, the actionable exercise. Join a cause or volunteer group that resonates with your values, actively contribute time or resources, and affirm, I balance society. Looking ahead, by 2045, global networks leveraging these principles are predicted to reduce inequality by an impressive 30%, fostering more equitable societies worldwide. But the book issues a stark warning about the risks from polarization, maybe 25%, indicating that tribalism and division could still disrupt these efforts for collective harmony, emphasizing the ongoing need for conscious bridge building. Chapter 11 then takes us even further into cosmic balance and the oversoul, aligning us with a universal spiritual unity that transcends even the collective human experience, hinting at a connection to something much, much larger.
Right, this is about aligning with Emerson's really profound concept of the oversoul, that universal spiritual unity permeating all existence for true cosmic harmony. It brings to mind mystics throughout history, finding peace through deep alignment with this greater reality. The book even cites neuroscience, showing that dedicated meditation, which often aims for such states, demonstrably reduces stress levels by 20%, highlighting a tangible biological benefit to spiritual alignment.
And today, we're seeing this concept manifest in surprising tech ways. VR meditation apps creating immersive environments to facilitate deeper states of mindfulness and connection, letting people explore inner landscapes with unprecedented realism. And in 2025, quantum-inspired mindfulness platforms are emerging, using algorithms, biofeedback to guide individuals towards states of coherence, universal alignment, bridging tech with ancient spiritual practices. The secret here. The Oversoul is presented metaphorically as a vast, interconnected quantum field, a tapestry of consciousness binding everything, suggesting our individual consciousness is part of this larger unified whole. Your actionable exercise. Meditate 15 minutes daily, intending to connect to this universal flow. Expand your awareness beyond just yourself and affirm, I align with cosmic balance.
Predictive Foresight suggests that by 2050, neural implants could enhance spiritual alignment with an astonishing 90% efficacy, offering direct pathways to these deeper states. I mean, that's a truly futuristic vision. But the book cautions about significant risks of dogmatic misuse, maybe 20%, emphasizing the importance of individual spiritual autonomy, avoiding rigid interpretations or attempts to control personal spiritual experience through tech.
Finally, Chapter 12, Mastering Compensation for a Balanced Life, brings all these threads together. It offers a capstone on the entire journey, summarizing how to truly live by this universal law.
Yeah, this is Emerson's ultimate capstone. Mastering compensation through sustained, conscious alignment of your actions with universal law, driven by clear intention, unwavering ethics, persistent effort. The book tells powerful stories of persistent entrepreneurs who, despite failures and setbacks, embodied this. They didn't just strive for success, they understood that delicate balance between striving and adapting, ambition and humility, ultimately achieving both goals in inner balance. The book emphasizes that grit, that mix of passion and perseverance, demonstrably boost positive outcomes by a remarkable 40%.
And modern tools like Habitica, which gamifies habit building, are perfectly suited to track and cultivate persistence in these practices, turning consistency into an engaging challenge. And in 2025, advanced AI coaches are evolving to provide personalized guidance for ethical alignment, helping individuals navigate complex moral dilemmas, stay true to their values, acting like a wise companion. The secret here is that true mastery is described as achieving quantum coherence, a state where all your intentions, actions, your very being are in perfect energetic alignment, effortlessly manifesting balanced outcomes without friction. Your actionable exercise. Meticulously track 100 actions and their outcomes. Deeply internalize the feedback loop. Learn from every interaction and affirm, I master balance.
By 2050, AI ecosystems are predicted to become so sophisticated they'll optimize life balance for individuals, leading to maybe an 80% uplift in overall well-being. That's incredible. However, the book wisely cautions about a potential risk of over-automation, maybe 25%, where we might delegate too much of our agency, our decision-making, to algorithms, potentially losing the very self-reliance and intentionality the book champions as crucial for true mastery.
Compensation 2.0 really does equip you to align with universal balance, harnessing AI, blockchain, mindfulness as contemporary tools. It's about consciously applying these laws weekly, tracking progress via apps, joining communities to actively co-create collective harmony. Ultimately, it paints this powerful, inspiring vision of global harmony achieved through the cumulative impact of balanced living, person by person, action by action.
So what does this all mean for you personally listening right now? As we wrap up this deep dive, we really encourage you to consider the book's direct calls to engagement. Maybe you could comment, perhaps on our platform, if you've seen karmic balance play out in your own life. Share a story. We'd love to hear it. Or maybe feel compelled to share this deep dive with someone else who seems ready for a transformation in how they approach life's balance.
And to truly embody the book's spirit of introspection and application, we invite you to reflect. What really resonated with you? What's your key Compensation 2.0 takeaway? Was it the power of polarity, the importance of ethical action, maybe the idea of collective karma? Which idea stands out to you from this whole exploration of Emerson's law in the quantum age? How will you start to co-create the world's ledger in your daily life, making these insights actionable? We'd love to hear your thoughts on our social media channels or website. Tell us below.
This deep dive into Compensation 2.0 has revealed, I think, a really comprehensive guide to understanding and applying Emerson's universal law of balance in our AI-driven world. It's about blending that ancient wisdom with neuroscience, quantum insights,
modern tools to achieve personal abundance and global justice, moving from mindset all the way to global impact through conscious action.
And remember, knowledge is most valuable when it's understood and applied, right? There's always more to learn, multiple perspectives, always enrich understanding. This book offers a compelling pathway to critical thinking in a world just full of information overload, truly helping you to balance your ledger in every sense.
We've walked through his powerful framework, from understanding the core law of compensation and the essential nature of polarity, all the way to harnessing intentional action, ethical choices, and that grand vision of collective and cosmic harmony.
And the book itself provides a rich balance toolkit that includes an AI app for action outcome tracking, a 30-day balance challenge for integrating these practices, Canva intention boards for visualization, and even Reddit forums for shared karma and community support. You'll find links to Emerson's original essay, suggested AI tools, and the relevant studies we discussed in this deep dives description, so you can definitely continue your own exploration.
Thank you so much for joining us on this exploration into Compensation 2.0. We really hope this conversation has provided you with some aha moments and maybe a clearer path to fostering more balance in your own life.
Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep striving for that beautiful balance in all its forms.
Until next time, keep seeking those profound connections.